Elimination.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Greetings and salutations, all my friends and family, fans and followers of the Zita Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining us here for episode 96 of The Revolution. I am your host with the most from the east to the west coast, like peanut butter on your breakfast toast. The one take wonder, the man who will steal your thunder. The one, the only Emperor Zita. And I am coming to you from the greatest place in the world, the Fortress of Solitude, here in Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. So this week we are once again graced by the presence of David Riches on Comic Book Day. It seems like he's going to be a regular fixture helping out Fred with the comic book review. One quick thing. I just want to congratulate our Canadian Olympic team on being phenomenal at this year's Winter Olympics. They had a great showing in Vancouver 4 years ago. They're having a great showing here. Our women's hockey has won gold. The men and women's crew both won gold. And before this episode airs, I'm hoping that our Canadian men win the gold as well. I just want to say congratulations, Canada, on having a fantastic Olympic team this year. I am proud to be Canadian. I am proud to support all our Canadian athletes. Congratulations once again, and we can't wait to celebrate when you guys get back home. Anyways, that is enough from me. So let's get on with the show. Rock and roll, baby! Here we go.
Hello. A little bit of excitement. Anthony actually took 2 steps all by himself on Friday. Unfortunately, I was at work on the phone with hubby when he took those 2 steps. Again, another kid taking first steps without me. It's not fair. Not fair at all. Poor kiddo's actually a little under the weather. He's got a bit of a cold and a bit of a fever, so hopefully he gets better soon. But I like he's a mama suck. That's the only bonus out of that. Yeah, another week of work gone by. Nothing interesting to report. Same stuff, different day. Aside from the fact that Catherine's had more attitude, go to work, come home, make dinner, get the kids washed up, and to bed. It's actually not that difficult to do. The attitude, her not listening, makes it a little difficult sometimes, but otherwise, it's okay. I'm tired and getting annoyed. Anthony's good, and Catherine's a pain in the royal butt lately, with attitude and not listening. Not much else to say.
With those devilish eyes, that's when she put my hand in between her thighs. Night wasn't getting any younger, it was a sober thought. So have another drink and give me all you got. Let me go and come and rock your world. Let me go and make me shimmer and shake. Standing in the midnight rain, I got my head on tight for the shade. Let me go, I won't take me home tonight.
Excuse me!
So this weekend it is the Elimination Chamber, but first of all I have to say how awesome is it that Hulk Hogan has been announced as the host of WrestleMania. But as for the Elimination Chamber this weekend, I think it's going to be a lackluster pay-per-view, which is a shame heading into WrestleMania. So before we get to my predictions for the show, I just want to say this will probably be the last week that I mention CM Punk, for the sole reason that if he is not going to give the fans enough respect to give a proper goodbye and leave on proper terms, then I'm sorry, but I have to stop talking about him and giving him any kind of respect at all. Him walking out on his contract, leaving the fans to suffer, just doesn't sit right with me. And I hope we never see him in a WWE ring again. But CM Punk took his ball and went home. Who knows, maybe he'll go down to TNA and make an impact there.
It's close, it's gone.
Let's get on to the predictions for the pay-per-view. So in the pre-show, it's Rybaxel versus the Brotherhood. I really think Rybaxel is going over here, but this is the beginning of a breakup between the Brotherhood so they can face each other at WrestleMania because it's what everybody really wants to see. Then the match on the card that makes the least sense to have, the implosion of the primetime player, Mr. Titus O'Neil, will be taking Darren Young to the woodshed and walking out as the winner. This would be normally reserved for a Divas match, but this is my bathroom break match of the night. Then we have Batista taking on Alberto Del Rio in a huge squash match that Batista is so going over in. We do have a few title matches going on. The Old Age Outlaws, the New Age Outlaws, no, I mean the Old Age Outlaws, will be taking on the Usos for the tag team straps. I've got a feeling that they're going to find an underhanded way to walk out with the belts for the sole reason that it would be an awesome TLC match to have at WrestleMania. There's also going to be the Intercontinental title up for grabs when Biggie Langston takes on Jack Swagger. No way is Jack Swagger walking out with the title. Now, the match I'm looking most forward to is a 6-man tag between the Shield and the Wyatts. Now, I definitely think the Wyatts are going over because Bray needs to keep that momentum going, especially if he's going to figure out a way to get Cena at Mania. But this is a great way to have the Shield implode, break up, and have Roman Reigns be pushed to the moon where he belongs. Now, speaking of John Cena, he is in the Elimination Chamber match with Sheamus, Christian, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and unfortunately, the champion, Randy Orton. Okay, I'll put it like this. Christian, Sheamus, Cesaro are there to be eliminated. John Cena is going to get screwed by the Wyatts, and Daniel Bryan will once again be screwed by the Authority because that's how they want it to go. Probably Kane coming out from underneath the ring somehow. So Randy Orton will unfortunately be walking out as champion because they've made him lose 4 out of 5 matches on TV in the past few weeks. Building it up, never won an Elimination Chamber match, making it seem like he's not going to win this one, but we all know that he's walking out with the titles and Daniel Bryan is going to get buried once again. I'm hoping and praying that WWE throws a curveball our way and does actually give the titles to Bryan, but I'm not holding my breath because I would probably die.
Yes! 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 My royal chair. Now I'm going to build a fort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She is stuck. My baby. Oh no! Look at her hair. It's ruined. Happy Valentine's Day!
Don't forget.
And I want to say Happy Valentine's Day to Uncle Alex. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy skipping rope Valentine's Day. Happy dancing Valentine's Day. I got a Hello Kitty stuff. A Hello Kitty light and a Hello Kitty stuff. My puppy is hurt. I'm putting her in here. She wants to come out. Let's stop change to numbers. Love you, and you are going to be my prince. Sit down. The royal boy has really to come in here because they're going to be my guests, and I'm going to dress you up. Good afternoon, boys and girls. We have a very, very handsome guest, and his name is Anthony, and say hi to Anthony. Hi, Anthony. So, we're going to do sport. Anthony is the greatest sporter in this world because he's so smart. No, Randy Orton! I hate you, Randy Orton! John Cena, yeah! I like you, John Cena, and you are the coolest, awesome wrestler. I got muscles for my surprise. For me surprise! No, it wasn't a surprise. That boy has the red hot dog. I can do that. I can do the act. I can do the whole dance. Chugga chugga big red book. On the wide
people, it is comic book day. That's right, it is comic book day, and it is beautiful outside. The weather is nice and warm. We don't even need the plastic cover today for my little partner in crime here, and it is a very special comic book day because it is Rob's birthday. That's right, it is the prophet's birthday, and we have a special card for him from Catherine. So we're going to give him that, stop in, say hello, wish him a big happy birthday, and hopefully we'll get there in time to talk to Fred because we're running a bit late today, so it may be me, it may be Fred. We'll see how it goes. Hope you guys enjoyed last week. Thanks once again to David and Paul Riches for joining us last week on the show, and we will see you soon, people. See you soon, people. Back here, but Anthony crashed. So we are back down here at Excalibur Comics. It is Rob's birthday, so we're going upstairs to wish the prophet a very happy birthday. In case he's watching this, happy birthday, Rob. Anthony's passed out, so he's crashed and quiet. Hopefully Fred is still here because I know we're running late today. But we're going to head upstairs to see if which of the boys are here today, and we'll see you inside. Now it's time for the weekly ritual of the steps of doom.
This is Excalibur Comics, 3030 Bloor Street West, upstairs above the Kingsway Theater.
Hi, how you doing? We've got this week the new Justice League, which features the all-new Middlemen. As I was saying earlier in private conversation, it's not bad. It's just it doesn't have any exposition, and it looks like a lot of pinups. It doesn't really explain how to get from point A to point B, but it does have some interesting looks, especially Platinum. Oh gosh, Platinum looks super duper sexy in this.
That's the whole point.
She's the only female other than Tin.
Yeah, and the fact is she was supposed to be attractive in the original series, and because you had two artists that weren't very good at drawing women, she didn't look attractive, whereas here, she does.
Now the book I'm going to be plugging is the final issue, you heard me, the actual final issue of Daredevil 36. $2.99. Because what's going to happen, they're going to start up Daredevil again. And not $2.99, $3.99. $3.99? Yes, $3.99. What do you get for $3.99? Basically the same shit. They're giving you $2.99. You're going to get Daredevil wearing flowers in his hair because he's going to Hippie Town in San Francisco.
But that doesn't matter because I don't give a damn about San Francisco. I want my Daredevil to be $2.99. Marvel's now got only 7, it's like probably 7 titles at $2.99. The rest are $3.99 because it's almost like they don't want to do $2.99 books anymore. Who knows why? Well, we all know why.
They want to make a buck.
That's right.
Making a buck.
No, they want to make an extra buck on your regular comic books. That's what they want to do.
There is one good thing here, is that finally Daredevil steps out from behind on the newsstand and says, yeah, Matt Murdock is Daredevil, Daredevil is Matt Murdock for the kids. This is actually one of the fun titles that I find is almost all ages. It's the Nova series.
This one has him basically trying to make up for several of his mistakes in the past and meeting up with Beta Ray Bill, another one of my favorites.
Now, the next book that I have was G.I. Joe Special Missions. Well, what's so bloody special about G.I. Joe Special Mission number 12? Well, one of my favorite artists, even though he does a lot of, shall we say, swiping, Paul Lacey is doing this book, and again, you know, it's a pity he's not working for Marvel or DC, but he's working doing G.I. Joe. And again, no matter what is said, I will always be a fan of Lacey's artwork. It's a 4-parter, so this is the 3rd part of a 4-part series, and he'll be probably doing another 4-part, perhaps half a dozen issues down the road.
I'm going right into the independent stuff. You got a lot of TV shows that got canceled before their time, or just canceled because they can't have any more time. We got that with Buffy, we got that with Angel, you had that if you go online for Saved by the Bell. And now we have Jericho Season 4. They only had 2 seasons on the air. One complete season as a comic book. No one really remembers it now because it's been almost a decade. But this is actually looks like they took lots of scenes from the actual TV series and just made it over. It's a very glossy comic book. There's always talk of revitalizing it, even though everyone went on in their own way. It's a very American patriotic type show, and the comic book doesn't tell you in that regard.
Alter Ego is one of the publications that talks about comic books, and what's interesting about this particular issue is Denny O'Neil. And if you don't know who Denny O'Neil is, basically you're looking at the man who wrote some of the best stories for DC comic books back in the 60s and 70s, particularly with a few artists that you may have heard of, you know, like Neil Adams and, you know, Mike Kaluta, Bernie Rice, and etc., etc., etc. Anyway, this is a great book. I would recommend it for a historical thing. If you have a sense of history, these are great things to read.
Thank you, Catherine. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you very much for my birthday. Looking at the Post and Toronto Star, they got the Ukraine uprising. The Ukrainian people are at loss because the president wants to sign a deal with the EU. They're in such debt, and the EU says, well, we'll bail you out if so-and-so concessions are made. Again, that's like what we talked about, economic hitman Perkins. The IMF is saying, we're going to bail you out, but you have to do what we say. And the Russians said, well, the terms you're going to sign are too cozy with the West, and as a result, we don't want you to sign that stuff. Russia has a great influence in Ukraine. In fact, Putin actually said, you sign that deal with the EU, we're going to pull out and affect 400,000 jobs in Ukraine. They also trade with Ukraine, and Ukraine gets all their oil and gas from Russia. So it could be a very cold winter for them too if they do sign with the EU. If you look at both sides, as you can see, are sponsored by, again, if you look closely who is actually sponsoring both sides, it's again George Soros, the same guy who sponsored the Wall Street 1% protest. Look at the elite, they always seem to go back to Crowley's sayings, and his one of the sayings is not only is he a worshiper of Lucifer, he actually wants revolutions. If you go to, say, Spaceman, the radio station at 6:40 a.m., the worst thing we can do is actually revolt. You want to crash the system, just don't go to work. The elite cannot function without us. By actually creating revolution, you play into their hands, they put in martial law and so forth. The same people who organized the Egyptian rising are the same people who are organizing the Ukraine uprising. They say, oh, it's all organized between Twitter and so forth, and you're getting photos and so forth, reports from their cell phones and so forth. You can always skew news like that because the pictures are not sharp anymore. Organize and revolt through Twitter. The Ukrainian government actually come down on some of the Ukrainian students who are twittering and using cell phones. They know who is actually twitting. So therefore, when they tell you in the paper, oh, look at the uprising, use Twitter, we can do that in Egypt. Look at the Ukrainian. They're using the same Twitter and cell phones and talking to each other. We can create revolution through this great device called the phone or whatever. But no, it's all tracked. In fact, some of the people who are using the phones in Ukraine are actually getting messages from the government saying, stop it, or we know who you are. And though they call it a revolution using Twitter and phones and so forth, it's actually a way to get the authorities to find out who is actually anti-government. So even Thailand is having unrest. This is all, I think, part of Crowley's plan of revolution to bring out order out of chaos. You know, Hitler and the Goebbels said, you know, we can always get people in war. We just say the other side they shot at us, you know, and we sent all the people in. All this conflict, nobody wants it, only the elite. And the elite plan it all, just seem to go along with it and so forth. But the real power is the people. The blood and sweat, the work, that is the real money. That is the real ingredient. It's not the money itself. And when we realize that, then we can actually say, you know, forget all this charades about control and indebtedness. As soon as you get in debt, and that goes for us personally, I guess, whoever lends you the money is the master.
Well, time is up here for another week of the Zita Nation. Thank you for joining us here for episode 96 of The Revolution, and come back next week for a brand new episode right here on YouTube. Go back, check out all of my other episodes right here on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel, one word, Emperor Zita, you guessed it, right here on YouTube. Pick up your Drop Dead Pinups Electric Night CD, check them out on iTunes, grab one of their t-shirts, and follow them on Twitter for all the news about their brand new album and upcoming shows at Drop Dead Pinups. Don't forget to follow me and my WrestleMania Countdown on Twitter at Emperor Zita. Head down to Excalibur Comics for all of your comic book conspiracy theory related needs. And what you gonna do when the Zita Nation rumbles on